Are you an Arrowhead chief? Are you an Arrowhead chief? Are you an Arrowhead chief? Are you an Arrowhead chief?
Look, it's a whole new season. Crowd getting pumped, yelling from the bleachers. Tomahawk chalk blasting from the speakers. Cheerleaders ready, lacing up them sneakers. 16 games, 16 ways. Kansas City Chiefs gotta rep that name. Push to the end, gotta win each game. Blood, sweat, and tears in the snow and the rain. Never give up, gotta push through the pain. Chargers, Rams, Raiders, Broncos. Grab your peanuts, grab your nachos. If it's raining, pack a poncho. Lip in the sky, soaring high. Kansas City Chiefs, now we're on the rise. Super Bowl ready, it's the perfect time. You can see the passion looking in their eyes. Sold out games, sacrifice. When he be the champs, gotta pay the price. Tune in live now, Channel 5. Kansas City Chiefs bring the town alive. Sold out game, sacrifice. When he be the champs, gotta pay the price. Tune in live now, Channel 5. Kansas City Chiefs bring the town alive. Kansas City, are you an Arrowhead chief? Stop and do the nay-nay, now we chop it to the beat. Tailgate every Sunday, yeah, we bleed that red and gold. Kansas City Chiefs, it's time to take control. Kansas City, are you an Arrowhead chief? Stop and do the nay-nay, now we chop it to the beat. Tailgate every Sunday, yeah, we bleed that red and gold. Kansas City Chiefs, it's time to take control. Now stop and do the nay-nay. Scored another touchdown, now it's time to hit the balls. Now stop and do the nay-nay. Scored another touchdown, now it's time to hit the balls. Now hit it.
What's up, everybody? You are tuned in to the Arrowhead Chief Podcast. I'm your host, Cris. I want to thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you taking your time out to watch my video. I know that you guys have busy schedules, but I just want to appreciate you for taking your time to watch me and my video, my thoughts on the Kansas City Chiefs. So let's get into it, man. We had a draft this weekend, and we got some new players that are added to this team that I believe are going to help not only for next season, but for the future. So let's get into it with we all know that the Kansas City Chiefs did not have a first round pick because they traded their first round pick with some other picks to the Ravens to acquire Orlando Brown, the left tackle, Pro Bowl left tackle, so they could shore up that offensive line. So like I said in the last episode, we have Orlando Brown Jr., we got Joe Tooney, and then we have a whole slew of depth in the center, the right guard, and in the right tackle position. And we're going to get into that. So first off, let's talk about the first pick. The first pick was, and we picked in the second round, I want to say it was the 53rd pick, I want to say. About 53. Nick Bolton from Missouri. Now, if you're a Missouri fan or you're an SEC fan, you know all about Nick Bolton. But if you don't watch college football, Nick Bolton is a stud. He is a sideline-to-sideline linebacker who can get to, he hits hard. He's a great tackler. He doesn't get pushed around. He's a tough guy. He hits hard. The linebacker that we've been searching for. Now, we got one last year in Willie Gay Jr., but I think due to COVID and, the restrictions in the practice time and stuff, we weren't able to tap into the full potential of Willie Gay Jr., which I believe we will this season coming up. But Nick Bolton is right into that mode. He's a little bit smaller, about 6 foot 5'11", but the dude is a wrecking ball. He always around the ball. He's always making plays, and he's the linebacker, and he could play well this year. And then when I believe that they let Anthony Hitchens walk, he could step right into that Mike linebacker role. He's a proven leader. He did it for the last 2 seasons with Missouri. He was the Mike linebacker, so he can make calls and checks and at the line of scrimmage when at pre-snap. When the quarterback is going through its reads or whatever, Nick Bolton has high IQ to know what checks and what defense to switch out the defensive line and get everybody set. So Nick Bolton, I love the pick. Like I said, if you know me and if you listen to this podcast, you know how I feel about our linebackers. You know how I feel about Ben Neaton. I don't have to get into it. You know how I feel about Anthony Hitchens. I'm not going to get into it because I'm not about to. I'll be all day talking about those two guys. But with the addition of Nick Bolton in the draft, and last year Willie Gay Jr., which I believe is going to come back. Even though he's coming back from injury, I do think he's going to come back. He's going to come out this season, and you're going to see a little bit more PT from this guy, Willie Gay Jr. So I love the picks. A lot of people, there were some people who didn't really care for the Nick Bolton. It was a mixed crowd, some people, and I'm not going to lie, I was one of the ones that wanted Jabril Cox, but as I thought about it and as I sat back and I saw that Jabril Cox wasn't really a middle linebacker, he was more of a wheel. And we need a Mike linebacker who's going to take over for Anthony Hitchens when he moves on. So I love the pick. So the next pick, with the 63rd pick, we picked up Cris Recaps, which a lot of people thought he was the one or two best center in the league, coming from Oklahoma. He was an anchor on that Oklahoma offensive line. The dude is a tough guy. He's an ex-wrestler in high school. So he has good technique, good hands, good feet. And dude is just a bulldozer. He's going to be, I believe he's going to be the starting center for the Kansas City Chiefs this season. I think they plug and play him. I think it's his job to lose. It's going to be a battle between him and Austin Blythe, who is a proven vet, who's started at center for years, but they only signed Austin Blythe to a 1-year deal. So I think it's Cris Recaps' job to lose. And I love this pick too. He's another anchor on this offensive line. The one thing I loved about Brad Veach, and I know a lot of people was like, well, I think the Kansas City Chiefs are on a little bit of an overhaul on the offensive line. But you know what? I don't mind an overhaul. I don't mind it. You can't have too many offensive linemen, and you saw that last year with injuries. People were going down like flies. Every 2 seconds, it was an offensive line that was going down. Mitchell Schwartz, Kelechi Osimi, Eric Fisher. It was just injuries left and right. And if any position you want to have depth at is offensive line. And I believe we have that. If guys do get injured, we got guys who could step in, plug them in, and they could play that spot. So I love the pick with Cris Recaps. Our next pick, we didn't get a 3rd round pick because we traded it to the Ravens. So in the 4th round, they got defensive end Joseph Kandu. Now, I don't know. I didn't know much about Joseph Kandu. This was my first time hearing about him. But what I'm hearing is, coming out of high school, he was a top prospect coming out. He was a top prospect. I think you want to say he was a 5-star recruit. The kid is an athletic stud. He's got all the physical tools that you need from a defensive end, especially in the Spags defense. Spags likes those 6'5", 6'7", 260, 270, 260, 270 type defensive ends who can get off the edge, the JPPs, the OCU Minors, those type of defensive ends that can get around you and give you that speed rush but have power too. So I love this pick because of the potential. I think Brandon Daly is going to get the best out of this dude, just like I think Matt House is going to get the best out of Nick Bolton and Willie Gay Jr. I love this pick. I do. And I know a lot of people was like, well, he didn't really get a lot of sacks in college. He dealt with a lot of injuries. He had an ankle injury, I want to say in 2019, which he kind of dealt with last year too. And plus Florida State, their coaching staff wasn't really that great. I don't think that they got the best out of him that they should have. So I think that this coaching staff will get the best out of Joshua Kandu. So I'm going to sit back and wait for that pick, but I like the pick. I like it. I really do. Then the next pick, they traded up in the 5th round to go get tight end Noah Gray from Duke. Now, Noah Gray, production-wise, he didn't have a whole bunch of big numbers, but the kid is an athlete. I'm not comparing him to Travis Kelce. There is no Travis Kelce. Let's get that out right now. But the kid has all the physical tools to be a weapon in this offense. He's good in sitting in the zone and catching the football. He's good at routes. You can play him in H-back. You can play him on the line. You can put him in the slot. He has a lot of good qualities that they could tap into and use him. And with Andy Reid and his play calling, he's going to find a spot for this kid to flourish. So it's up to this kid to take it to the next level. We've been looking for that tight end too, for when we got to give Travis Kelce a breather, or when they want to go double tight end setting. You could set Noah Gray out and have him do something. You could have him in the slot and have Travis Kelce at the line. You could have Travis Kelce in the slot and put him at the line. You could put them both at the line, especially in the red zone. We need another tight end who can go out there and catch the ball in the red zone. So I like this pick. The next pick, and everybody was clamoring for a wide receiver. And I'm not going to lie, I was clamoring for a wide receiver. I'm not going to lie, and that's when we had our first pick, I thought we was going to go after Terrence Marshall, but we didn't. And kudos, like I said, I love the pick of Nick Bolton, but, I was kind of hoping for Terrence Marshall too. But we didn't get him. But we did get a wide receiver in the 5th round. Cornell Powell from Clemson, who was he was a highly productive player his senior year. His previous years, he wasn't that productive, but there was a lot of talent in front of him with Mike Williams, T. Higgins, just to name a few. But this season, his senior year, he flourished. He made the best of his opportunity his senior year. He had some very big games this season. When Trevor Lawrence went down, he couldn't, he picked up his game with the backup, and then when Trevor Lawrence came back, he stayed on par. So he had a very productive season. They're looking for him to be that wide receiver. He's not the tallest dude. He's 6 foot. He's like 210, big guy, real compact guy. You know what I'm saying? Really ripped up, big body guy. So look for those back shoulder fades, the 50-50 ball type things. Going across the middle, being that possession X receiver, doing all the underneath stuff. I believe that they're looking for this guy to take over that mantle that they try to, that they wanted Sammy Watkins to be. But unfortunately, Sammy, due to injuries and things of that nature, he wasn't able to produce like, we wanted Sammy to do. Sammy, yes, the Super Bowl season, he was decent. He made some plays, especially in the playoffs. But the Chiefs want a more consistent guy who can be that anchor. And I believe that they want this kid to step up and be that X receiver, along with Byron Pringle, who's another guy he was kind of a big body dude. I think those two are going to kind of be the X receivers this year, unless the Chiefs go out there and make a move or go pick somebody up. Because after June 1st, there's going to be cuts, and there's always going to be a surprise cut from a team, especially after that June 1st post cut, where teams can save money. It's always a superstar or somebody who gets cut. So look out for that. I wouldn't be surprised if they do sign a veteran wide receiver to be their number 2. But if they don't, I think they roll with Byron Pringle. I think they see what they got. I think they believe McCall Hardman is going to take that step forward. And it's going to be interesting. I think they're going to let these guys battle it out in camp. I really do. I think they want to let the youth take over this position, and they want guys to step up. And when you got Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback, you trust that, he can make guys look good. It's always Patrick Mahomes always gets this rap of where he has all these offensive weapons. He has Tyreek Hill, he has Travis Kelce. Well, I believe that this team is going to put the trust in Patrick Mahomes and say, look, we got the best quarterback in the league, and if the receiver can get open and catch, then this kid can get him the ball. And so I believe that they're going to roll the dice on this receiver core as is. I think they do like some of the guys that's coming in, especially even what was his name? Antonio Callaway, and Tarjay Sharp. Both of those guys are young dudes who didn't really, they have potential, they flash, but they just haven't tapped into that big potential. So after that pick with Cornell Powell, we get, which I believe was the steal of the draft. We got offensive guard Trey Smith from Tennessee. Now, there was a lot of medical concerns with Trey Smith. He had blood clots in his system. They found, it was like, I don't know all the details. I think it was a couple seasons ago they found blood clots. I think he played the last 2 seasons and he's been able to control those blood clots. But a lot of teams, passed on Trey Smith, and he slipped all the way down to the 6th round. Now, this kid is what is said to be a first, second round talent, and he slipped all the way to the 2nd round, which I believe is great. Then once again, bolstering up this offensive line, not for just next season, but for the future. And that's what I believe the Kansas City Chiefs did this offseason. They just weren't thinking 1 year. They were thinking all the way down the line. So I love this pick. I love all of our picks. I think all of our picks are going to prove to be effective, not only this year, but the years to come. And I love all our picks. If I were to give our draft this year, I would give it an A. I would give it an A. I loved our picks. I think all these guys are going to be contributors one way or another. And I love every single last one of these picks. I just love the make and what Brett Veach and his staff, Andy Reid and all these guys are doing. They're making sure Patrick Mahomes will not, have to run around for his life no more. And I just believe that this was a great offseason so far. Some of the guys they got in the offseason, the Jaron Reed, the Joe Toonies, Orlando Brown Jr., and then add on to this draft. I believe it was a superb draft. Do I believe that they're done? No, I do believe that there's some more moves to be made. I wouldn't be surprised if they brought back Rashad Breeland to be that veteran cornerback. I wouldn't be surprised if they brought in a veteran defensive end to be opposite of Frank Clark. They brought in Melvin Ingram. They talked to him. Maybe they bring him in. Maybe they go reach in for the pass. Let Justin Houston come in and be that pass rusher on the other side. I do believe that they're not done. We got mini camps and OTAs coming up. So there's a lot of stuff to get into in the next few weeks leading up to the training camp. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. I hope you're excited, Chiefs Kingdom, because I'm excited for next season. I'm fired up. I'm ready for the football season to start right now. I think that this team is prone to make another Super Bowl run, and this team is loaded and stacked up on the offensive line. They're loaded and stacked up on their defensive line. Wide receiver, I think, is to be determined. If they, roll with the young guys, if they, believe in and say what they said in their press conferences, that they're going to roll with the young guys and they believe in these guys, or if they're going to make a move for a veteran wide receiver, whether it be a trade or they wait for post cuts June 1st and see if guys get cut. So I believe that that's what's going to happen. Like I said, I'm fired up. I'm ready. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. I appreciate y'all. If you're not already, subscribe to the channel. Click that notification. Also, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at ArrowHead Chief Podcast. Instagram, ArrowHead Chief Podcast. You can even follow the ArrowHead Chief Podcast. The ArrowHead Chief Podcast Facebook page. And we're also on TikTok too. You can follow us on TikTok. I'm going to start putting up some stuff up there too. Arrowhead Chief Podcast. I appreciate y'all. I thank y'all, and I'm gone.
Are you an Arrowhead Chief? Are you an Arrowhead Chief? Are you an Arrowhead Arrowhead chief? Oh, you got Arrowhead chief?
Look, it's a whole new season. Crowd getting pumped, yelling from the bleachers. Tomahawk chop blasting from the speakers. Cheerleaders ready, lacing up them sneakers. 16 games, 16 ways. Kansas City Chiefs gotta rep that name. Push to the end, gotta win each game. Blood, sweat, and tears in the snow and the rain. Never give up, gotta push through the pain. Chargers, Rams, Raiders, Broncos. Grab your peanuts, grab your nachos. If it's raining, pack a poncho. Lip in the sky, soaring high. Kansas City Chiefs, now we're on the rise. Super Bowl ready, it's the perfect time. You can see the passion looking in their eyes. Sold out games, sacrifice. When he be the champs, gotta pay the price. Tune in live now, Channel 5. Kansas City Chiefs bring the town alive. Sold out game, sacrifice. When he be the champs, gotta pay the price. Tune in live now, Channel 5. Kansas City Chiefs bring the town alive. Kansas City, are you a Arrowhead chief? Stop and do the nay-nay, now we chop it to the beat. Tailgate every Sunday, yeah, we bleed that red and gold. Kansas City Chiefs, it's time to take control. Kansas